You have power inside you that you've never accessed. Real power, not the kind people talk about in motivational clichés, not some mystical energy, not wishful thinking. Actual power. The ability to achieve things you currently think are impossible. The capacity to transform areas of your life that feel permanently stuck. The strength to overcome obstacles that seem insurmountable right now. This power exists in you, right now, this moment. It's always been there, but it's locked, hidden, inaccessible, because you've never learned how to unlock it. Most people go their entire lives never discovering this power. They live at a fraction of their capacity. They settle for a fraction of what they're capable of achieving. They accept limitations that aren't actually real. And they die having never accessed what was inside them the whole time. But it doesn't have to be that way, because the power can be unlocked. There's a process, a sequence of steps that, when followed, open the door to capabilities you didn't know you had. Not overnight, not through some magical revelation, but through deliberate, systematic application of principles that have been proven to work. These steps aren't complicated, they're simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. Each step requires something from you: commitment, honesty, action, courage. But when you walk through all of them, when you apply each one fully, something shifts. The locks open, the barriers fall, the power that was always there becomes accessible, and your life changes. Not because circumstances changed, not because you got lucky, but because you unlocked what was already inside you. Let me take you through each step, and as I do, I want you to assess honestly. Have you done this step? Have you applied it fully, or is this where your power is still locked? The first step is brutal self-assessment. You can't unlock power you don't know you have. You can't access capabilities if you don't know where they are or what's blocking them. So the first step is getting ruthlessly honest about where you actually are right now. Not where you wish you were, not where you tell people you are, not where you should be, where you actually are. Most people skip this step. They avoid it because honest self-assessment is uncomfortable. It requires looking at all the ways you've been lying to yourself, all the excuses you've been making, all the potential you've been wasting. But you can't start from anywhere except where you are, and you can't know where you are if you're not willing to look honestly. So you sit down and you assess every major area of your life, your health, your fitness, your energy levels. Be honest, not what you tell yourself, what's actually true. Are you in shape or out of shape? Strong or weak? Energized or exhausted? Your finances, your income, your savings, your debt, your financial situation. Be honest. What are the actual numbers? Not what you hope they are, what they actually are. Your relationships, your connections with people who matter, the quality of those relationships. Be honest. Are they strong or weak? Deep or superficial, healthy or toxic? Your skills, your competence, your professional capabilities. Be honest. Are you actually good at what you do, or just adequate? Are you growing or stagnating? Your character, your integrity, the promises you keep to yourself. Be honest. Are you someone you respect or someone you're disappointed in? Write it all down, every area, with complete honesty. No sugarcoating, no excuses, no justification. Just truth, raw, uncomfortable, necessary truth. This brutal self-assessment shows you exactly where your power is locked. It reveals the gaps between where you are and where you could be. It identifies the specific areas where unlocking your power will create the biggest transformation. Most people can't do this step. They can't handle the discomfort of honest self-assessment, so they stay locked, they stay limited, they stay stuck. But you're different.
You're willing to look. You're willing to see. You're willing to face the truth about where you are. That willingness is the first key that starts unlocking your power. The second step is accepting full responsibility. This is where most people fail, because accepting full responsibility means giving up all your excuses, all your justifications, all your reasons why things are the way they are. And people love their excuses. They're comfortable. They protect you from having to change. They allow you to stay exactly where you are while blaming circumstances. But excuses are chains. They keep your power locked. Because as long as you believe your circumstances are controlling you, as long as you believe other people are determining your outcomes, as long as you believe you're a victim of factors outside your control, you're powerless. Actual power only comes when you accept complete responsibility for everything in your life. Everything. Your health, your responsibility. Not your genetics, not your busy schedule, not the fact that healthy food is expensive. Your responsibility. Your finances, your responsibility. Not the economy, not your boss, not your industry, not your upbringing. Your responsibility. Your relationships, your responsibility. Not the other person's flaws, not your past trauma, not your personality type. Your responsibility. Your career, your skills, your growth, all your responsibility. This doesn't mean everything is your fault. Bad things happen, unfair things happen, things beyond your control happen. But even when something isn't your fault, the response is still your responsibility. What you do next is still your choice. How you move forward is still under your control. When you accept full responsibility, something powerful happens. You stop being a victim. You stop waiting for circumstances to change. You stop hoping someone will save you. You start taking action. You start making different choices. You start creating different results. Because now you understand, if it's your responsibility, then you have power over it. You can change it. You can improve it. You can transform it. That realization unlocks massive power. The power to act instead of react. The power to create instead of complain. The power to change instead of accept. The third step is defining your non-negotiables. Power without direction is just chaos. Energy without focus is just noise. Capability without purpose is just wasted potential. So you need to define what matters, what you stand for, what you refuse to compromise on, your non-negotiables. These are the principles, the standards, the commitments that don't bend regardless of circumstances, the lines you won't cross no matter what, the values you'll uphold even when it's hard. Most people don't have non-negotiables.
They're flexible about everything. They compromise constantly. They adjust their standards based on how they feel, what's convenient, what other people think. That flexibility feels comfortable in the moment, but it's actually weakness. Because without non-negotiables, you have no foundation. You have no anchor. You drift with whatever current is strongest. Your non-negotiables might be about your health. I will not put toxic substances in my body. I will not skip my training. I will not sacrifice my physical well-being for temporary convenience. Your non-negotiables might be about your character. I will not lie. I will not cheat. I will not compromise my integrity for short-term gain. Your non-negotiables might be about your relationships. I will not tolerate disrespect. I will not stay in toxic situations. I will not abandon the people who matter. Your non-negotiables might be about your work. I will not do work I'm not proud of. I will not stop learning and growing. I will not accept mediocrity from myself. Whatever they are, they need to be clear, specific, and actually non-negotiable. Not things you try to do, not things you do when you feel like it, things you always do. No exceptions, no compromises, no negotiations.
When you have clear non-negotiables and you actually live by them, you unlock incredible power. The power of integrity, the power of consistency, the power of being someone whose word means something. People who live by non-negotiables develop an internal strength that people without them can never access. Because every time you honor a non-negotiable, especially when it's hard, you prove to yourself that you're someone who keeps commitments, that you're someone who can be trusted, that you're someone with real power. The fourth step is eliminating energy drains. You have limited energy, limited attention, limited willpower, limited time. And right now, most of it is being wasted, drained by things that don't matter, consumed by people who don't deserve it, depleted by activities that don't serve you. You can't unlock your full power while your energy is being constantly drained. It's like trying to fill a bucket with holes in it. You can pour in all the motivation and effort you want, but it just leaks out. So you need to identify and eliminate the energy drains ruthlessly. Some energy drains are activities: social media scrolling, excessive television, video games, mindless internet browsing, hours of your day vanishing into content consumption that leaves you drained and empty. Some energy drains are people: the friend who only calls when they need something, the family member who's constantly negative, the colleague who complains endlessly, the relationship that takes everything and gives nothing back. Some energy drains are environments: the cluttered space that creates mental chaos, the toxic workplace that saps your motivation, the negative community that reinforces limiting beliefs. Some energy drains are habits: staying up too late, eating food that crashes your energy, saying yes to commitments you don't have capacity for, overcommitting and under-delivering. You need to identify them all, every single thing that drains your energy without providing real value, every activity, person, environment, or habit that leaves you depleted. And then you eliminate them, cut them out, create boundaries, make changes, stop tolerating what's draining you. This feels harsh, it feels selfish, people will be upset, you'll feel guilty, you'll question whether you're doing the right thing. Do it anyway, because your energy is the fuel for everything else. If your energy is constantly drained, you'll never have enough left over to unlock your power. You'll always be running on empty. But when you eliminate the drains, when you protect your energy like it's the most valuable resource you have, because it is, suddenly you have surplus, you have reserves, you have capacity you didn't have before. And that capacity is power. Power to take on challenges, power to build things, power to transform your life. The fifth step is building your foundation rituals. Power isn't accessed through random bursts of effort. It's accessed through consistent practices that build your capacity over time. These are your foundation rituals, the daily practices that strengthen you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The non-negotiable routines that ensure you're operating at your best. Every person's foundation rituals will be slightly different, but there are certain elements that are universal. Physical foundation. Your body is the vehicle for everything else. If the vehicle is broken, nothing else works. So you need daily physical practices, movement, training, real food, adequate sleep. These aren't optional, they're foundational. Mental foundation. Your mind needs training just like your body. Daily practices that sharpen your thinking, expand your knowledge, challenge your assumptions. Reading, learning, problem-solving, creating instead of consuming. Emotional foundation. Your emotional state affects everything, so you need practices that help you process emotions, manage stress, maintain perspective. Journaling, meditation, quiet reflection, whatever helps you stay centered. Spiritual foundation. This isn't necessarily religious, it's about connection to something larger than yourself. Purpose, meaning, contribution. practices that remind you why you're doing any of this, that ground you in what matters. Your foundation rituals should happen every day, not when you feel like it, not when you have time, every day, as non-negotiable as breathing. Because these rituals are what build your baseline, your normal operating level, your standard state. Most people's baseline is depleted, distracted, and reactive, so even on their best days, they're just getting back to zero. They never build momentum, they never access real power. But when you have strong foundation rituals, your baseline is elevated. You start each day strong, focused, and resourced. You're not climbing out of a hole, you're building from a position of strength. And from that elevated baseline, you can access power that you couldn't access from a depleted baseline. You can take on bigger challenges, you can sustain more effort, you can achieve more than you thought possible. The sixth step is deliberate exposure to resistance. This is counterintuitive. Most people try to avoid resistance. They seek comfort. They want things to be easy.
They arrange their lives to minimize difficulty. But that's exactly backward. Because power is built through resistance. Strength comes from pushing against things that push back. Capability grows through doing hard things. Your muscles don't grow from lifting light weights. They grow from progressive overload, from consistently exposing them to more resistance than they can comfortably handle. Your character works the same way. Your mental strength works the same way. Your emotional resilience works the same way. Your capacity in every area grows through exposure to resistance. So you need to deliberately seek out resistance. Deliberately put yourself in situations that challenge you. Deliberately do things that are hard. Physical resistance. Don't just do comfortable workouts. Push yourself. Lift heavier. Run farther. Train harder. Make yourself uncomfortable. Build physical capacity through progressive challenge. Mental resistance. Don't just consume easy content. Read difficult books. Learn complex skills. Solve hard problems. Make your brain work. Build mental capacity through intellectual challenge. Emotional resistance. Don't just avoid difficult situations. Have hard conversations. Face uncomfortable truths. Sit with difficult emotions instead of numbing them. Build emotional capacity through psychological challenge. Social resistance. Don't just stay in your comfort zone. Put yourself out there. Risk rejection. Try things you might fail at. Build social capacity through courageous action. Each time you expose yourself to resistance and push through it, you expand your capacity. You prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. You unlock more power. But it has to be deliberate. It has to be progressive. You can't just randomly expose yourself to overwhelming resistance and expect growth. You'll just get crushed. You need to find the edge, the place where you're challenged but not destroyed, uncomfortable but not broken. And you need to spend time there, consistently, progressively increasing the resistance as your capacity grows. That's how you unlock the hidden power of resilience, of mental toughness, of capability that surprises even you. The seventh step is acting despite fear. This is the final key, the one that actually unlocks everything else. Because you can do all the other steps. You can assess yourself honestly, accept responsibility, define your non-negotiables, eliminate energy drains, build a foundation rituals, expose yourself to resistance. But if you don't act despite fear, the power stays locked. Fear is the final barrier, the last defense mechanism that keeps you small, the ultimate lock on your hidden power. And everyone has fear. Everyone. The person achieving incredible things experiences fear. The person living boldly experiences fear. The person who seems fearless absolutely experiences fear. The difference is they act anyway. They don't wait for fear to disappear. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait for certainty. They feel the fear, they acknowledge it,
and then they act anyway. Most people have it backward. They think they need to eliminate fear before they can act. They think courage means not feeling afraid. But courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. It's doing the thing even though you're scared. It's moving forward even though you don't feel ready. Every time you act despite fear, you unlock power, real power, the power to do hard things, the power to face uncertainty, the power to risk failure, the power to become who you're capable of becoming. And here's what happens. Each time you act despite fear and survive, and you will survive, the fear loses a little bit of its power over you. The thing that scared you becomes less scary. Your capacity for action expands. You start that business even though you're terrified of failure, and you survive, and the fear of starting things diminishes. You have that difficult conversation even though you're scared of conflict, and you survive, and the fear of confrontation diminishes. You put your work out there even though you're terrified of judgment, and you survive, and the fear of visibility diminishes. Action despite fear is the master key. It unlocks everything. Because once you prove to yourself that you can act despite fear, nothing can stop you. There's no obstacle that can keep you locked up, no limitation that can hold you back. The power was always there. You were just too afraid to reach for it. But now you know. You can be afraid and reach anyway. You can be uncertain and act anyway. You can feel unprepared and move anyway. That knowledge is ultimate power. Now let me tell you what happens when you actually walk through all 7 steps. When you brutally assess yourself, you see clearly where you are and where you need to go. When you accept full responsibility, you reclaim your power from circumstances and other people. When you define your non-negotiables, you build an unshakable foundation of integrity. When you eliminate energy drains, you free up massive capacity for what matters. When you build your foundation rituals, you elevate your baseline to a level most people never reach. When you deliberately expose yourself to resistance, you expand your capacity beyond what you thought possible. When you act despite fear, you unlock the final barrier and access power you didn't know you had. The combined effect isn't additive, it's multiplicative. Each step unlocks the next. Each step amplifies the others. You don't just become a little bit better, you become fundamentally different, operating at a level that would have seemed impossible before you started. You achieve things you previously thought were beyond you. You handle challenges that would have broken the old you. You create results that shock even yourself. Not because you became a different person, but because you unlocked the power that was always there. So here's what I want you to do, starting right now. Walk through each step, one at a time, fully, completely. Do the brutal self-assessment, write it down, face the truth about where you are. Accept full responsibility, give up your excuses, reclaim your power. Define your non-negotiables, make them clear, make them real, start living by them. Identify your energy drains, cut them out, protect your capacity. Build your foundation rituals, make them daily, make them non-negotiable. Seek out resistance, challenge yourself, expand your capacity. Act despite fear. Do the thing you're scared to do. Prove to yourself you can. Don't rush through them. Don't skip any. Don't do them halfway. Each step fully, each step completely, each step with total commitment. Because your power is waiting. It's been waiting your whole life, locked behind these 7 barriers. And now you have the keys. You know the combination. You understand the process. All that's left is to actually do it. To actually walk through the steps. To actually unlock what's been there all along. Your hidden power isn't hidden anymore. You know where it is. You know how to access it. Now, go unlock it.